Welcome to the Tuck Shop Podcast, everybody. I'm, as always, Matt Cernell, and glad to bring you this episode. We're going to talk to Dr. Ernie Mantini here in a little bit about some of the cool stuff he's been involved in, including our upcoming Mountain Cat tournament this week. But I hope you're all doing well. Kind of an interesting schedule this week for all you alum out there. Today is this is going to air on December 11th. Which is a Wednesday, as always. We like our Wednesdays here for the podcast. But it is also the start of finals week. So for somehow the powers that be decided that the calendar just lined up the right way where finals week runs from this Wednesday to next Tuesday. So for those of you who remember that week, that the whole actual like Monday to Friday deal, a little different this year for everybody. So it's been giving everybody on campus a little bit of a just learning how to handle the new thing. But that they'll get it figured out. It's always the fun of finals week. That nervous look everyone has on different study zones and stuff, as you'd imagine. This will also most likely be our last episode of the term, since the term will be over before next Wednesday. I want to thank you all for coming along with us on this journey. We don't have much of a break. We'll be back in early January. Term starts on the 8th, so we'll have an episode for you ready to go on January 8th as well, to get things kicked off and rolling, because I like to keep that cycle. We already have some great interviews scheduled with some alumni. We have some cool events coming up, but doesn't mean that nothing will be going on. I want to encourage you to kind of keep in touch with the social media of the Alumni Association that David puts together. He does a great job with that out there. So if you can do that, follow on Facebook and LinkedIn. Email myself or David if you have questions or looking for stuff. There's some neat things coming up across the board. I know Winterfest is coming back. We talked about that a little bit this season. But Winterfest coming back in February. Our wrestling team's going to be in Oakland to take on their wrestling team. So that's coming up at the beginning of 2025. Pretty early, too. So you want to keep a eye on that. So lots of neat stuff, and it doesn't give us much of a break as far as time off, which is good. I don't like time off. I don't like being off, and I like doing this. So we're going to keep doing this for as long as you all keep listening. I want to thank you again for being part of the Tuck Shop family here that keep the shows going and suggesting ideas and providing ideas for guests and topics, and all that is so important to us and to me personally, because this is just something I like to do because I love campus. Thank everybody who'd been on the show. Hopefully you loved last week's episode of us out with the student-teacher event. That was quite a fun setup and a really neat day. So hopefully, if you haven't heard that one, go back and listen to us do our first live remote as well. So without anything else, I'm going to wish you all a happy holiday season, and we will, it's just a handful of weeks, we'll be back with a new episode. But before that, let's talk to Dr. Ernie Mantini. As we get close here to the end of the term and the end of our broadcast day, as far as the podcast goes, until the start of the new year, we get to welcome Dr. Ernie Mantini, alumni, board member extraordinaire, to the show.
Well, thanks for having me, Matt. And I am the class of 79.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. When did you graduate? 79?
79.
And what did you study?
Biology.
Okay, and you ended up being a dentist.
I went up to the University of Pittsburgh School of Dental Medicine and graduated in 1983. And has been practicing in Davidsville as a general practice ever since.
What drew you to the field?
My uncle was a dentist, and I was kind of drawn to that. I also got into 3 law schools, but I decided to go to dental school, which still at this day I made the right move.
You as a lawyer would be very interesting.
That's what I've been told.
By who?
Many a fan of myself.
Okay, I was going to say, was it Linda?
Not exactly. No, just patients and people I grew up with.
So, what was your time like here?
It was fun. I really, after about 2 weeks up here, this is pretty good, because you used to being told what to do all the time in high school, and now you could be independent. And I kind of like the freedom, and I embraced it.
I'm thinking back that time frame. So we're talking for folks who are relatively new listeners to the show, as far as age-wise goes. We're talking no Blackington building. We're talking no Living Learning Center, no Pascarella Center, no Murtha Center.
Yeah, the ENS just opened up a couple years before. I think in 74, I think.
74, 75, somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah.
Yes.
So it was quite a time. You have a lot of connection here to campus.
Mm-hmm.
You've been around a long time as an alum.
Yes.
Been on the alumni board how long?
I started off in early 1984. So it's been about 40 years, yes.
Wow.
It's a long time.
That's a long time. And your wife's a valued member of our community as well,
yes.
and an alum.
Yes, she graduated in 1988. Yes.
So that's kind of neat. What keeps drawing you back to campus?
I just like being fundraising and supporting the school and helping to elevate its presence in the community.
And it's been something that really does go out, and I think we do a good job on a bunch of the stuff we do on the alumni side.
I would have to agree, yes.
To promote. Well, that's good. I'm glad you do, because it makes our meetings go so much smoother. One of the big things that you've been involved with for a long time that probably, I don't want to describe it. It's quasi-student, quasi-alumni, kind of lives in both worlds, is the event that's going to go starting as of this airing on Wednesday, tomorrow night, Thursday, our Mountain Cat tournament. For those who haven't known and heard about it, what is the Mountain Cat tournament?
Basically, we showcase the high school boys team, and then this year, for the first time, we're showcasing 4 high school girls teams. And basically, it's a chance. I look at the school, looks at it as a marketing effort to get some prospective students on campus, and maybe they may and maybe to interest them in matriculating to UPJ.
And so that's four teams from 4 local school districts that come out and play. And where they play?
We play at the Sports Center. And this year we're featuring the boys' teams are Berlin Brothers Valley, Conemaugh Township, Forest Hills, and Turkeyfoot Valley. Turkeyfoot Valley's first appearance in the tournament. And then on the girls' side, for the first time, we are featuring Berlin girls again, Bishop McCourt girls, Forest Hills girls, and Wimber girls.
And this is something that not only do you love doing, but you have a love for the basketball side of things.
Yes, I was a season ticket holder for over 20 years for the University of Pittsburgh boys basketball team, men's basketball team.
What do you, as somebody who's not a basketball aficionado, you could see the around the office. I got some.
I apologize.
No, that's fine. I honestly think, and I've talked about this with other people, I think it's because we don't have a professional team. Like, that was my inroad to, like, hockey and NFL and stuff. But what about basketball just
Well, what really got me excited about is when I started going to some games at the Pittsburgh Fieldhouse. Intimate setting, people close proximity to floor, and it was just a great environment, especially on a full house. At the time, they held 6,700. The place would be rocking. And it'd be really, really warm in there. You'd go into the game with your winter coat on. You take your coat off. You got your sweatshirt on. And then by the time the game started, you were down to your T-shirt because they had those old steam boilers in the place. And on warm February days, they'd have the exit doors open to try to cool the place down. But it was a great environment.
So the Mountain Cat tournament, you have these teams. They come on. We have a great tournament, a great event. What is the ultimate goal from the financial side for the...
We're trying to raise money for our scholarship fund, and I know in the past years I've been running it. I think this is my 36th, something like that. We've raised over $150,000 for this.
we talk about a lot about scholarships. If everyone had a chance to listen to last week's episode where we were at the student teacher forum, if you hadn't, go back. That's an amazing episode where we did a setup and did a live broadcast. You actually hear some of these students that have been impacted by the opportunity to get sponsors or scholarships and help continue and finish their education in a way that you don't think about a lot of ways. So it really does mean a lot for that. So what are we expecting out of the tournament this year? What are you thinking? We're going to take
exciting games, nice weather. I like a little bit of a Christmas party. Yeah.
Yeah, the weather did look like this weekend's going to be pretty good for them.
Yeah, a little cold but dry, which is good.
We've had some snowstorms over these.
We've had some snowstorms. I can give you some stories about that, but we don't have time for that now.
No, so good weather across the board. You have an amazing turnout, and I think the really neat thing for this year, like you mentioned, Ernie, is that adding not just. How long ago was it? 5-6 years ago. You added the women...
one girls showcase game, yes, but now we decided to do a tournament.
It's actually a full-fledged tournament now, and that's the first year for that. So it's kind of a really cool.
Yeah, we're excited to see this happen. Yes.
If people want to come, when do they go? When are the games? Where do they go?
Well, the first two games, there's double headers. Thursday. This Thursday, December 12th, we start at 6 with the Windber girls versus Forest Hills girls, and the doors open up at 5. The tickets are $7 for adults and $5 for students. Then the second game on Thursday will be Berlin Brothers girls versus McCourt girls, which should be a pretty good matchup. And then on Friday, doors open up again at 5, and at 6 we have Turcotte Valley versus Conemaugh Township, and we have Forest Hills boys versus Berlin Brothers boys. Then Saturday, the gates will open up at 1, but we have four games that day. We at 2:00 is the girls' consi game. At 3:30 is a boys' consolation game. At 5 will be the girls' championship game. At 7, the boys' championship game.
So it's 3 full days of exciting basketball.
Yes,
here
I'll be
on
pretty
campus.
tired Saturday night. So yes,
I can't imagine it's not going to not be a pretty rocking time. When you look at putting this, what goes into this behind the scenes? Because people show up and they spend their money, they throw a sponsorship to you. What actually goes in behind the scenes?
Well, the hardest job is fundraising for the program. And I'm proud to say we've raised over $4,500 this year for the tournament, which is a record for us. So
it's great
to help cover the expenses. Yeah,
and that's the hard thing is that this does have expenses. People
right
because you're talking with this is a full-fledged actual tournament. You
right.
Award prizes and pay referees. People don't
right. But like I said, the biggest goal though is showcasing the school. I think the financial one is secondary, although you don't want to lose money on it. But yes,
thank you. I appreciate it. But no, it is such a neat event and a neat thing to have on campus. And one of the cool things I think that I'm hoping that people, especially since we hopefully have some student listeners now after last week, that would have gone to these schools. And with it being finals week starting tomorrow morning, maybe they can come see their old high school teams play.
They should be home studying, but yes, we'll still let them come in. Yes, they can bring their study materials with them and look at things during timeouts. As a matter of fact, my wife is a Forest Hills grad. I'm a Conemaugh Township grad, but we really don't talk about conflict yet. Although I'm hoping that Township will play against Forest Hills in the boys' final, but I shouldn't be rooting, but I am rooting.
You're hoping for that matchup, and then.
Yes.
See where the pieces fall.
And then we'll see what we can wager on each other.
There you go. That is good. I think it's a really neat thing. So again, if anyone would like to come out, that's going to be December 12th, 13th, and 14th.
Correct.
On the 12th, you said you started at 6?
Yes.
13th, 7? Or 6?
6.
6, and then 1 o'clock?
2 o'clock.
Oh, 2 o'clock.
Yes.
So 6, 6, and 2.
Yeah, and the gates open up an hour before each of those games.
Okay. So there you go. You can come up to campus, down at the sports center, take a peek. If you're an alum and you're coming up, look around and find somebody from the association or David.
Right.
And he's glad to meet you and talk to you a little bit. I think it's really, really a neat event.
Yeah, it's David Janisic.
Yeah, everyone knows David. He's the co-host of the show.
Yes.
It's kind of a neat deal. So I think it's a great amount of time and effort that you all put in. And you have who else works on this?
I have a committee that's been with me for a long time, Mr. Dan Galwell, Mr. Ed Sheets. They've been with me from the beginning. So we're the three amigos. Then we also have Eddie Sheets, Ray's son. He's been helping us. My wife, Linda, and Gladys Goes helped us some.
All valuable members of the alumni team and some of the university. Dan had worked here for many years.
Yes.
Actually, I have him on my list to try to get him on the show as an alum, too.
I always say they should build a statue of him by the print shop.
By the print shop. There you go. Dr. Mantini, thanks for coming in on an early morning.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you for promoting us on your wonderful podcast.
And I hope you have a great tournament, and I hope everyone who listens can get out and see it. So,
okay. Thank you.
Thanks a bunch. Have a great week, everybody. The Tuck Shop podcast is recorded live on the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown campus. Update your contact information with us by visiting johnstown.pitt.edu/alumni. Connect with us online via Facebook and LinkedIn, or consider donating to the university at give2.pitt.edu/giveupj.
This has been a production of Quantum Wave Media. Views expressed do not necessarily reflect the opinion of the University of Pittsburgh at Johnstown.